this 50-year mortgage idea. So it's significant MAGA backlash, calling it a giveaway to the banks and simply prolonging the time it would take for Americans to own a home outright. Is that really a good idea?
It's not even a big deal.
This is a terrible idea, in my opinion.
That's a really bad Trump.
And it just doesn't seem in line with Make America Great Again. It doesn't seem in line with Put America First. So,
they're no longer that.
President Trump, look, I don't want the guy impeached nor executed, as I made very, very clear with Dave Smith and the people who were calling for his impeachment and execution. And yes, that's a real thing. They said execution for war crimes to be buried beneath the prison. I don't agree. I think he's been mostly, and you guys let me know, I think he's been mostly a pretty damn good president. But there are some head scratchers here these last couple of weeks. And as always, we make the references available, links in the description. If you disagree with any of my positions, please do engage in the chat. Yep. I'd love to talk with you. I would love to see someone steelman the mortgage issue.
Yeah.
And I would love to see someone steelman the Chinese exchange student. I don't get it. I don't see any possible path to arguing how it benefits America. If we're talking about Make America Great Again, MAGA, well, what? The first one I kind of get, because you'll still have some people who've come over from the Bernie Bro coalition and they vote exclusively in their own selfish interests. But I would say that this is a mistake. So a proposed policy from President Trump, a $2,000 payment to lower middle income Americans generated from tariff revenue.
Over the weekend, President Trump posted a proposal on Truth Social suggesting Americans could receive payments of up to $2,000 from the administration's tariffs. He addressed this earlier today from the Oval Office.
One of the things we're going to do, we're going to issue a dividend to our middle income people and lower income people of about $2,000. And we're going to use the remaining tariffs to lower our debt. We're going to be lowering our debt, which is a national security thing.
Now, this one I understand. I don't agree with it. I understand because it's a way of drawing attention to the fact that the tariffs have generated a ton of revenue.
Yeah.
I think that's why he wants to do it. And of course, during this sort of standoff with the shutdown, it's saying, hey, I'm looking out for working class Americans. And by the way, we're able to do this because the tariffs that these elitists opposed and said would obviously irreparably damage the country. Hey, look, here's a check. I get it. This one, I understand. It's not conservative. It's not right wing in any way. I hate it when the left redistributes wealth in order to buy votes. This is a hard pass for me. Anyone?
Less good Trump.
Yeah, I'm also not sure if it's enough money to do that and to pay down some of the deficit, or at least a significant portion of the deficit.
Right.
To, justify it.
I think everything that we should be doing right now is actually fixing the problems instead of just kind of putting a Band-Aid on it. Like you said, this is for votes. I don't like doing that. And I also think you have to get serious about the debt and the deficit. You've got to get serious about that and stop doing that, because they did the exact same thing. You remember when they were talking about doing a Doge kind of dividend?
Yeah.
I think that's what they called it.
Remember that. Yeah.
Maybe we'll send a Doge dividend. And everyone's like, what? No, we don't want, it's supposed to cut spending.
I would love that idea if we didn't have $40 trillion in debt.
Yes.
Or whatever it is. I might be.
It's 37, 38 right now.
Pretty close.
If it wasn't that, if it was, maybe a couple trillion, maybe I'd be okay with it. But
there was a Price is Right rule, so you went over. So Gerald wins this one.
Okay.
As much as it pains me. It also brings me to, by the way, next Monday will be another Change My Mind on ending SNAP. And this has nothing to do with the shutdown. I just think we should end it. I think it's a failed program.
Yep.
And I had people sit down, and this goes back to inviting Ben Shapiro, Mark Levin, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens on, where people go, well, if we didn't give so much money to Israel, then we could afford it. I go, well, first off, that's incorrect. Okay, $3 to $4 billion. Cut it to Israel. $3 to $4 billion in aid, right? Military aid and foreign aid. Cut it to Israel. Cut it to all those countries. Stop funding all sides of the war in that cesspool of a region. Okay, I agree with you. But SNAP is anywhere from $100 to $130 billion a year. $9 billion alone spent on sugary drinks. So 3 times the amount that we send to Israel annually is spent on Coca-Cola and Fanta on SNAP each year.
Yeah.
And so if all of this infighting is going to be about that funding, I think we remove that and go, okay, great, remove it, fine.
Done.
That should be enough, done. Let's deal with the real problem, though, as far as our spending. Let's deal with the real problem as far as the entitlements in this country. And I think a lot of this has been a distraction. Next policy, because there's not a whole lot more to say about that. You either support giving away people's money to someone else or you don't. I don't. The proposal of 50-year mortgages. So government-sponsored enterprise, you've heard the term GSE. That's what it means. Government-sponsored enterprises like Freddie Mac would support 50-year mortgages to purchase single-family homes. This has been floated by President Trump. and just seems like a terrible idea.
It's this 50-year mortgage idea. So it's significant MAGA backlash, calling it a giveaway to the banks and simply prolonging the time it would take for Americans to own a home outright. Is that really a good idea?
It's not even a big deal. I mean, you know, you go from 40 to 50 years, and what it means is you pay something less from 30. That some people had a 40, and then now they have a 50.
Didn't.
All it means is you pay less per month. You pay it over a longer period of time. It's not like a big factor. It might help a little bit.
Yeah, so the current max that, at least that I'm aware of, 30-year mortgages. And I'll also say this is something where it shows how Donald Trump sometimes has a blind spot. I think he was under the impression that this was going to be a largely friendly interview. And so he didn't prepare the same way that he would when he's ready to deal with opposition. Just, you know, it could be, well, you could go from 40 to 50. Well, it's 30. 20-year difference, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
I understand how this seems nice, and this is the problem with populism if it's not tied to some kind of, deeply rooted principle. Now, it doesn't mean that you just cling to your principles and say, hey, like libertarians, let's legalize all drugs and have open borders and war shouldn't exist. Okay, cool. We also have to have a system of government, and we have to have a form of governance that is appropriate, that's in line with the Constitution, also serves the interests of the American people above all else, above any other people, to be clear. But this kind of ties into a $2,000 check, just pandering for votes. So people go, well, that's great. It'll make it more affordable. First off, not really. And I'll offer a solution, by the way, that may help a little bit more. So here's how it won't really help. You just have a slightly lower monthly payment, right? You'd build equity a whole lot slower, and you'd end up paying a whole lot more over time. One could argue that this is really sort of a kickback to the big banks because they would love for you to pay these rates. They would love for you to continue to be enslaved into debt. So let me give you an example, like a $400,000 home with, let's say, 10% down at 6.25% financing. Just giving you a general, these numbers you can find out there. So a 30-year mortgage, your monthly payment would be about $2,200. So the total cost of your home with interest would be about $798,000, call it $800,000. A 50-year mortgage, you'd be paying about $250 less per month, about $1,960. But the total cost of the home with that interest would be $1.18 million, $380,000 more. And I want to be clear about something. A lot of people think that real estate is the best investment there is. They go, well, you always make money. Well, first off, that's not true. It's better to invest if you can in many scenarios than rent, sure. But if you're paying this kind of an interest rate, you sort of lose that. You're not paying the money away, but your house may not appreciate to the cost that you're paying, and you're not getting that equity.
It's not appreciating.
Yeah, it's a policy that would encourage financial irresponsibility on behalf of many Americans. And let me tell you something. You know what would really help? The numbers that we know anywhere, I've seen them as low as 30, 35 million illegal aliens. I've seen it as high as 55. Let's call it 40-something million illegal aliens in this country. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Guess what? That would free up a lot of homes right now. So right now what you're talking about doing is we have a housing crisis. Let's just artificially, effectively, increase demand. Well, no. We either need to increase supply, either we need to build more homes, or we need more homes to be available. Well, you could free up a lot of homes if you no longer have people who are competing, illegal aliens, by the way, who often work off the books and have more disposable income because they don't have to pay taxes. That would give a lot of Americans more access to these homes. How about that? It's not just, and the left will say, they just try and other people and they just try and demonize one group of people. No. They shouldn't be here, period. So I don't need to demonize them. They are here illegally. But in this case, there is a direct correlation. And you know where you really saw it? Used cars during COVID.
Yeah, 100%. You can see the same kind of thing with education. When the government steps in and essentially does something they think will try to help, it gets priced in. It's going to get priced in homes too. All of a sudden it's like, oh, well, people are going to save a little bit of money. Maybe they can afford a little bit more home. My price is going to go up a little bit because demand is going to go up. So I don't think this solves any of the problem. It doesn't sound like a good idea for anybody. And paying almost 100% more interest over the life of a loan, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it helps with the rate of interest.
No, it doesn't. And it'll probably increase the price of homes because you'll have a lot of people now going, well, I can afford that monthly.
Now.
So now more people go out and buy a home that if it's close, If you're cutting it close, that means you can't afford it. And I will say, we can maybe roll that clip. Ben Shapiro's quote now, and it could be taken out of context. This idea that, well, if you can't afford to live in New York, then you really should leave New York. I understand the point he's making. It is very tone deaf. It is very tone deaf. It's very tone deaf. I say you should leave New York because it's a communist hellhole. Okay, and I think that the people have voted for that. Enough people have voted for it where it's beyond repair. But this idea that it's incumbent upon you to simply move to a new municipality when you're facing the result of policy that has led to the cost of living problems. No, it is incumbent upon the people who represent the American people to be more responsible with policy. Mm-hmm. And whether you're looking at Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, awful. Whether you're looking at Obamacare, which we'll get to, awful. Or a 50-year mortgage, it is a bad policy. It will incentivize bad decisions. And the people who would be most happy about this would be big banks. And the too big to fail firms, the BlackRocks, the State Streets, the Vanguards, who want to purchase up homes so that they can sell them to you or rent them to you. These people are the ones who are holding all the leverage. This is a terrible idea, in my opinion.
That's a really bad Trump.
And it just doesn't seem in line with Make America Great Again. It doesn't seem in line with Put America First. And these days, the younger generation absolutely does have it hardest when looking to purchase a home and get a good rate. Let's get to the Chinese.
Oh, boy.
Chinese mortgages?
Can I make one clarification about the Chinese? These are not foreign exchange students. These are just like full-time, visa students coming over here.
You're right.
We're not exchanging anything. There's
all
less
right.
than 1,000.
Admonish me.
Not me.
Admonish me. I deserve it.
Admonish.
I use the term because that's how people might know it. But you're right. There are only about 1,000 American students studying in China.
Yeah.
And the proposal from President Trump here is that we should have like 600,000 Chinese studying here at our universities. And here's something that I don't know who is in President Trump's ear. And I know that we've never had President Trump on the show. And I know that, I know, by the way, some of the grievances from people like Tucker Carlson or people like Candace Owens are correct. There's a lot of gatekeeping that goes on. These are bad ideas. So 600,000 Chinese students here. Can anyone tell me how that is good for America? Because if we're talking about work visas, I do understand there's a scenario where it's appropriate. For example, someone like an Elon Musk. If there's someone who is hyperly skilled, who is going to be a player on the world stage, well, you want them playing for Team United States. I understand that. Or if certainly in film, this happens a lot. If you need Tom Hardy, you need Pierce Brosnan, you need to bring him in, especially if there's a series here. I get that. But students, you are now training up the younger generation of a foreign adversary so that they will be competitive with you in the workplace. It doesn't make sense at this stage in the development of a human being. We shouldn't be training and making our enemies stronger than they would be without this policy. And here is President Trump giving this interview with Laura Ingraham. And everything he says, I just don't think he's aware that he's communicating it in the opposite way that people are hearing it.
You've said as many as 600,000 Chinese students could come to the United States. Why, sir, is that a pro-MAGA position when so many American kids want to go to school and there are places not for them and these universities are getting rich off Chinese money?
Sure. Never said about China, but we do have a lot of people coming in from China. We always have. China and other countries. We also have a massive system of colleges and universities. And if we were to cut that in half, which perhaps makes some people happy, you would have half the colleges in the United States go out of business.
So what?
Great!
Well, I think that's a big deal.
Are they fans
you would have the
of
historically,
the United States?
Yeah, but you would have, as you know, historically black colleges and universities would all be out of business.
Why?
You would have a system of colleges and universities.
So we're dependent on China to keep our university system going?
But I think it's good to have. I actually think it's good to have outside countries. Look, I want to be able to get along with the world.
They're not the French. They're the Chinese. They spy on us. They steal our intellectual property.
Screw the French too.
Yeah.
I mean, really? I don't know. I'll tell you, I'm not so sure. We've had a lot of problems with the French, where we get taxed very unfairly on our technology, where they put 25% taxes on American products. Half of the students from all over the world that are coming into our country destroy our entire university and college system. I don't want to do that.
I wouldn't lose any.
And don't forget, MAGA was my idea. MAGA was nobody else's idea. I know what MAGA wants better than anybody else. And MAGA wants to see our country thrive.
Want to bet? we want to see our country thrive, but you still have failed to make the case as to why we would thrive, why we would be better off with more communist students coming over here.
Well, because the historically black colleges and universities would fail if they didn't have Chinese students.
2% of these colleges?
Or less.
The black colleges need the Chinese students.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine, I guess. Can anyone make the case? Because he didn't make it just there. And he even insisted that Ivy League universities love this idea, citing the recently renamed Rail University and their new fight song. We've been working on the railroad all the wrong day.
I'm working.
And most upset, of course, is Captain Morgan here. Don't even get us started on Notre Dame.
The Fighting Irish.
They can pronounce the R's.
We
It's fine.
fight wrong time. we don't win
all of you.
football in decade.
Oh, pass it to my tight end.
That's right. Yeah. Put it in tight end.
Yeah, please keep making fun of me for getting a free education.
Yeah, you a fullback asshole. So let me just be really clear with you. Chinese students not only don't deserve this and we don't benefit from it, they're a national security threat. So let me give you a few examples here. Check the references link in the description. At U of M, you had many instances of students trying to smuggle in crop fungus. That doesn't seem like it has a place in the science lab. Again, at U of M, you had that student charged for illegally voting, and his vote still counted. And again, at U of M, 5 students were charged with spy activities at Camp Grayling. Again, most of these are the Chinese. Chicago, Chinese electrical engineering student there was convicted for spying for the CCP. At UCLA, there was a math student who transferred sensitive tech to the PLA. And then, of course, you have Swalwell's favorite, Fang Fang, the one he was not banging, just to be clear, not having sex with a Chinese spy, Eric Swalwell. There's no record of it. There's no proof of it. Eric Swalwell has not slept with Chinese spies and still seems to hold office. I just want to be very, very clear. I think we're covered by my half-Asian lawyer. Remember, Fang Fang started her spying career while enrolled at Cal State East Bay. So, there's a long-standing history of the Chinese taking advantage of our system and sending spies over here. Not to mention this. Let me ask you this. Do you think that having more Chinese students coming here, do you think that that lowers tuition costs? Or do you think it inflates tuition costs? Do you think that it provides more opportunities for American students to study? Or do you think they take those spots? This policy is basically, hey, we're going to be educating our primary geopolitical rival, basically people from a communist nation, so that we'll have to compete with them in the tech and workspace later on. And the reason for it is...
Go. None. It doesn't make any sense. Listen, there's an AI race right now that is absolutely imperative for the United States to win. It is national security implications. Matt, that's why you saw Sam Altman, Elon Musk, all these guys, Jeff Bezos, going and talking and saying, hey, the government has to do something. Why would we take the one country that can beat us in this race and educate their kids so that they have a better chance? Why would we do that? Lane made a great point. He's like, how many students do you think we would have been comfortable letting in during the Cold War from Russia?
Right.
How many?
Right.
Probably not a lot. What the hell are we doing? And these are new every single year. This is not a total number. I think this is 300,000 over 2 years of new students.
Yeah,
It's not like there's just 600,000.
It's more than what's currently enrolled, I believe.
Yes.
And I don't think that the premise that half of America's colleges and universities would go out of business when they're spending tons of money on rejection letters every year.
Exactly.
Yeah. I didn't get any.
I also, by the way, don't care. I guess I would only support it if this was all just a ploy and we were educating the Chinese students wrong.
Maybe that's a
hey, welcome to this new engineering class. I present your professor, Terrence Howard.
Okay, fine. Maybe if there is a little subterfuge going on. I don't know.
He's more like a quantum physics theory guy.
2 times 2 is 5. I learn America. 2 times 2 is 5. Crying black man, say. So not great
crying.
Trump. Let's rate that one. That's not so great Donald Trump.
Not less good.
Yeah, less good Trump. But here's one that's good. Here's one that is good. A new order says that visas can be denied for certain health conditions. By the way, any way you can deny visas, I'm on board with that. The health conditions can include obesity, diabetes, mental health. The feminist trifecta. My verdict here is good Trump. That's good Trump. That one's pretty base. Good for him.
I don't have a good Trump.
We don't have a good Trump? Come on.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
That works.
Thank you very much.
That works. That's a good thing. Hey, why should we be bringing in anyone who's fat, diabetic, and mentally unwell?
unstable?
Well, I don't know about
do
the
that?
fat thing, but definitely the mentally unstable.
Well, again, the
Fat thing seems personal.
they're gross.
Ew.
No, but we'll get to Obamacare. They're a burden on the healthcare system. So you're bringing in people who will be taking advantage
See,
of our
I
social
think
services.
this from the mind state of like, oh, we're not giving health care to people who don't live here, right?
Right, yeah,
I'm
exactly.
here. We're not giving that. Oh,
You're being logical.
that's where I mess up.
YouTube's is something you're not allowed to say according to the guidelines. I was quoting the guidelines. I'm glad you're still here. It means you watched this video all the way through. Oh, it says here that Rumble, where you can go follow my channel, lets you say pretty much anything, provided it's not illegal. That reminds me of, what does it remind me of? Oh, yeah. YouTube, pre-2015. Go on and follow me there. I'm live, 11 a.m. Eastern, weekdays. Don't call YouTube a. Oh, it's just a different way of saying it's.